Broadcasting live for viewers in the Gambia and around the world. This is Judges News at 2200 hours. The headlines: His Excellency President Adama Barrow grants audience to over 600 imams and religious scholars at the State House. Heavy torrential rains batter inner city Gambia, with residents struggling to keep their homes from inundation. The 55th UK Jalsa Salana finally wrapped up on Sunday with a resounding message of tolerance and peace from worldwide head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. In sports, the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games conclude on Sunday with a scaled-back closing ceremony in a near-empty Olympic Stadium. Away from home, the Taliban make fresh territorial gains in Afghanistan after seizing Kunduz, the third provincial capital to fall in 3 days. Elsewhere, wildfire approached the Greek capital Athens, with thousands of people forced to evacuate on Saturday, some escaping by boat. Well, viewers, details of this and much more coming ahead. Do stay with us. My name is Aminata E. Sanyang. It's great to have you here. We begin with the president, who has granted audience to over 600 imams and religious scholars at the State House on Saturday. The delegation was at the presidency to hold talks with the Gambian leader and pray for the president, his government and the people of the country. President Barrow used the occasion to call for religious tolerance among scholars and imams. Now, heavy torrential rains battered inner city Gambia on Sunday as August brings unprecedented waters that look to make this year's rainy season one of the wettest in many years. Residents, especially those living in swampy territory and communities lacking proper drains, face the worst of showers as families struggle to keep their homes from inundation. Weather forecasts are predicting more rain in August, which generally takes the country through midsummer, but this year's late showers mean more unremitting downpours could define the entire month, with the rains picking up steam at the very beginning of August. Now, the 55th UK Jalsa Salana finally wrapped up on Sunday with a resounding message of tolerance and peace from worldwide head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. This year's 3-day event marks the first convention since the start of the global pandemic, which led to its cancellation last year. Baba Silla has more.
Jalsa Salana Convention finally came to a close on Sunday, with multiple faith-inspiring addresses touching on various topics, including tolerance, global peace, and understanding, as well as the superior teaching of the Holy Quran. The day's discourse also featured presentation on the exclusive unity of God and the crucial role of Caliphate in Islam. One of the key elements of Jalsa Salana is the Bayat, the Islamic pledge of allegiance at the hand of the Caliph. Participants were treated to this beautiful tradition via a documentary exploring the merits and importance of the age-old tradition.
Allah had given the promised Messiah alayhi salam the task of teaching the Holy Quran and its wisdom. He announced to the world that whenever Islam is confronted with any new challenge or contemporary issue, the sharp and effective instrument that is immediately at hand is the Holy Quran.
Convened amid global pandemic disrupting communities around the world, attendants at the 2021 Jalsa Salana were teeming with emotion and gratitude at being able to attend the scaled-down event, which could only accommodate 4,000 participants.
Azur's guidance is so essential that we are very much fortunate and we are happy. So on behalf of Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, we say great and glad success to the Jalsa.
The culmination of the incredible spiritual weekend was the keynote address from His Holiness Hadrat Miraj Masood Ahmed, who reminded Muslims of the unique bonds of kinship they share. For GRTS News, I am Baba Silla.
Action Aid International recently held a debate and writing competition for students in the Opanyomi district under a new initiative seeking to build democratic culture and tolerance through awareness creation and civic education. The activity is part of efforts to strengthen awareness on democracy and human rights. Famara Kani covered the activity and he filed on this report.
Aidanjai, one of the village women, suggested that there should be equal share of the cake if democracy should prevail in Sutukun.
That point from Momodu Aliuba kick-started a debating competition among schools in the Opanyomi. Participants will be debating on the topic democracy and human rights. Dressed to the occasion, each participant is representing a school and the hopes of hundreds resting on their shoulders. This activity is part of the project Building Democratic Culture and Tolerance through Awareness Raising and Civic Education, under implementation by Action Aid International, The Gambia. A cross-section of the society, parents and teachers in attendance. Patiently, they awaited in full concentration to go all through the end.
Oh, poverty! A word I wish not to hear.
The lyrics of our poem on poverty left everyone in the hall with admiration. Every lyric showcased the untapped talents of provincial Gambia. Fode Kani of Action Aid International, The Gambia, said the $11 million project is funded by the European Union in a bid to support the democratic transitioning process of the new Gambia.
Democracy, it requires new thinkings, it requires approaches, that includes active participation, because all of us should not be left behind. We have to actively participate in the process. We should be also well informed in order to at least stabilize our social discourse within the society.
The project, he went on, is targeting over 10,000 women and youths throughout the country. The chief of the district, Momodu Chati Cham, hailed the efforts of Action Aid The Gambia for supporting education in the country. The governor of the region called on the students to continue the hard work, whilst commending Action Aid for creating the enabling environment for students in the region to showcase their unseen potentials.
The present government have ushered in change in diverse areas. It has improved the lives and livelihood of many Gambians. A case in point is the freedom of speech the citizens are now enjoying. The government is also committed to the respect of the rule of law, human rights, women and youth empowerment, infrastructural developments like the Hakalang Road, among other things.
Momodu Cham, the Regional Education Director, said the activity will prepare students to become good public speakers in the future.
Raising awareness and civic education on democracy and human rights will strengthen students' skills and capabilities in writing and public speaking. And also, there will be for them to understand and recognize their civic and political rights.
Over the years, the project have trained many women on human rights and democracy, trained local authorities, and also held many sensitizations at communities, both in the urban and rural areas. For the news, I am Famara Kani.
Fofanas Alumni Foundation for Academic Excellence has on Saturday organized a symposium in Serekunda. The aim of the program is to raise awareness about the challenges faced by the academy. Aissatou Jata Gassama tells us more.
The day-long symposium organized by Fofanas Alumni Foundation is meant to pay homage to the teachers who have transformed the lives of many in and outside the Gambia. Ansumana Kamara, a lecturer, gave participants an overview of the study center.
And very honestly, the whole thing started, there was no fee attached. It was free. Mr. Fofana was giving his service. He would teach round the clock. Behold, at some point, we felt that, yes, the service is really very good. and people have shown appreciation. Let's see what we can do to improve on the conditions in which these students come to learn. The study center became known nationwide without one advertisement. And we said, let's make an ideal atmosphere for our students. What do? Let's see if we can levy some small amount so that we can raise funds, get an ideal place so that learning could be effective and efficient when the students are comfortable. That was how we thought of 500 for all subjects.
Ali Sen, an ex-student of Collective Hand Study Center, dilated on the goals of the foundation and the importance of education.
Teachers are the most important servants throughout the whole world. Let no one fool you. It doesn't matter how much you earn or what you can make from your profession, but what you can build, how you can prepare people to face the future that they are going to face. And that is very fundamental. And as a result of that, that is what laid the foundations that Mr. Fofana and his colleagues had been engaging into for the past 2 decades. And today, we have come to this point of establishing a foundation in the name of Mr. Fofana for the advancement of education in this country and beyond. The goals are to ensure that there is education through excellence in this country.
The managing director of the Manu Property Company Limited, Samba Kamara, delved into the topic, instilling a positive mindset for quality and sustainable education.
I came here purposely today. There's so many things dead in your system that I want to give life again. Everybody in this house is created with greatness. We didn't come here by mistake. Everybody come here for the purpose. We are born with a purpose. But most of in this generation, most of the purpose in life dies at a young age. It depends on parents or the environment you're in. For instance, if you have a son who said, I want to be a carpenter. What? I say to school, you want to be a carpenter? But that's what he wants. And he'll be a carpenter, he'll be a great carpenter. But no, not everybody's supposed to go to school. There's in us that we killed that I want you to say, no, let it live again. Believe in yourself. Whatever you think, you can do it. Easy, it's not easy. Don't even think about easy. Life is tough. Life is very, very tough. And we Gambians, we're always on the comfort zone. You see somebody in the house of their fathers from age 1 to 35, you're still in your mother's house. It's wrong.
Mbemba Jiba Jr., principal coordinator of the foundation, underscored the significance of the Teacher Symposium. Fofana's Alumni Foundation for Academic Excellence was established to reciprocate the efforts and works of teachers in national development. The prestigious platform harnesses students from various high schools within the country to promote excellence in their academic quest. For the news, I am Aissatou Jata Gassama.
Well, we will take our first break now. When we return, we will look at sports news. Don't go away. Welcome back now to sports. Medina United Football Academy has crowned its under-9 champions at a colorful final at the Academy's late Jibril Latjo Ndaw Center of Excellence. Team Knight Wada narrowly edged out Team Alaji Jala to win the 8th team tournament for the under-9s. Details in this report by Momodu S. Jala.
Developing football starts with the grassroots, and Medina United Football Academy is setting the pace in molding raw talents into good players. This final wraps up an under-9 tournament for kids at the academy.
It's a tournament of 8-team internal tournament. All the players who participated are players of Medina United Academy. So the two teams that played today went to the finals. We've seen that it's a tournament that have injected a lot of fanfare, a lot of soccer class. We have seen a lot of skills, talents from our kids, and we really love it. The most important thing is parents are gracing it every time we play, and the management is spending quality time, making sure that things are done the right way.
The third place playoff between Team Basiru Rahia and Team Laimbo was the first of two exciting games played at the late Gabriel Jorndao Center of Excellence. The game was decided in a tight penalty shootout which Team Laimbo won. Then came the final between Team Nightwada and Team Alaji Jallo in a 7-a-side encounter, full of energy and excitement, as the two sides produced a spectacular display of sheer brilliance. Left to freely express themselves on the pitch, the kids showcased incredible skills, much to the delight of their parents, family members, and invited guests in attendance. Among them, the president of the Gambia Football Federation, Lamin Kababajo, the Director General of the Gambia Radio and Television Services, Malik Jen, and Gambian International, Ibrahim Sohna. Despite several chances at both ends, the thrilling encounter ended in a stalemate, forcing the tie to a penalty shootout. Team Nightwada had their goalkeeper Paul Daddy Senghor to thank. The young shotstopper, who has been outstanding throughout the tournament, was the hero in the shootout. He saved 3 penalties before stepping to score the winning kick for his side. Medals were presented to the 3 best teams, and some of the players went home with individual accolades for their outstanding performance, capping off a memorable tournament for these kids who are already dreaming big.
I want to be a great footballer in the future and be a good defender, to be saving goals for my team, for our team also to go forward. I want to play for the school girls.
Team Nightwada were finally crowned champions of the Medina United Football Academy under-9s.
Coming up with such an organization at this point in time is laudable. We can only assure them of the Federation's support and encouragement in every way we can do it, because we cannot do everything. We want to encourage private operators in football to venture into football development, especially at the grassroots level.
We have seen a real class under-9 tournament. All the boys who took part are below 9, so we want to show Gambians that we can do it. We just have to do the right thing. Come here, develop them, get them young, and get them with the right age. So the objective has been achieved full time.
Medina United Football Academy is an ambitious grassroots football development project, providing football training to 200 players from the under-9 to the under-17 levels at no cost.
It's a grassroots program, and we hope to build on it. And we put a lot of premium on academics. If you do not maintain a good grade point average in school, you cannot be part of this academy. Like during the summer, we have summer school, we have field trips. By the way, all of our coaches are teachers in various schools in this area.
For these kids, nothing beats the feeling of winning. They might have a long footballing journey ahead, but molding them from this tender age with the right coaching is a sure way of actualizing their dreams to play professional football. Mohamed Jallo, GRT Sports.
Well, I'm with Jallo there. And now the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games finally came to a close on Sunday with a scaled-back closing ceremony in a near-empty Olympic stadium. The 16-day event was held under strict COVID-19 restrictions in Japan, which has succeeded in hosting one of the biggest global sporting events, albeit without fans. Closing festivities began early on Sunday after the Japanese flag was raised at the 68,000-seat venue, where fans were barred to contain the spread of the COVID-19 virus. The Tokyo Games is the first Olympics to be postponed and took place a year later in stadiums where spectators are largely banned by authorities. Team USA went home with the most gold, but Africa also saw great performances in athletics, where several countries, including Kenya, made away with multiple accolades, including a historic triumph for gold medalist Eliud Kipchoge, who blessed to victory to win the Olympic marathon race for the second time. The next games are set to be hosted by Paris, which is preparing for the 2024 Olympics with several landmark projects. Well, this is JATS News. We will take our second break. When we return, we will look at international news. Don't go away. Welcome back. On Saturday, the Taliban captured the Afghan city of Shabagan in Jawzjan, the second provincial capital to fall under its control in less than 24 hours. As Taliban militants continue making advances, more Afghan cities like Herat, Kandahar and Lashkargah are under pressure. In another blow, the insurgents captured a prison in northern Afghanistan and released the inmates.
As the Taliban tighten their control in many rural provinces, Russia's air force is patrolling near Afghanistan's northern border. Fighter jets are conducting joint maneuvers with Uzbekistan, as both countries are worried about the worsening security situation. The city of Saranj in southern Nimroz province fell on Friday, despite the Afghan government's claim that they're still resisting. These pictures, posted by Taliban fighters, appear to show them in control. Afghan officials are also targeted by the Taliban. The government's head of media and information was assassinated in the capital city, Kabul, on Friday. It's another aspect of how the country is being destabilized and weakened despite an ongoing peace process. Afghanistan's Western-backed president was at the funeral.
They fill coffins with young people. This isn't humanity. We stand for humanity, life, and dignity of Afghanistan, and this is our wish.
Dozens of bureaucrats, civil servants, judges, journalists and social activists have been killed by Taliban fighters recently. They want to install a hardline Islamic leadership instead of the democratically elected, more liberal Muslim government. Local fighters are being called up to support the Afghan army and security forces to try and defend cities like here in Herat. At the United Nations, diplomats are reminded what's at stake.
You cannot terrorize the population on the one hand, unleash a massive attack on cities, and then go to Doha and talk about peace on the other hand.
Hundreds of travelers are stranded on the Pakistan-Afghan border after the Taliban grabbed control of the Spin Boldak crossing point near Kandahar last month. It's now closed for people and commercial traffic. In many other areas, thousands of families are displaced as more flee Taliban attacks. Makeshift camps are home to almost 350,000 Afghans, refugees in their own country as the fighting intensifies. Yoloab David, CGTN.
Now, wildfires are approaching the Greek capital Athens, with thousands of people forced to evacuate on Saturday, some escaping by boat. Reinforcements from other countries are arriving to help 1,400 firefighters push back the flames. CGTN's Evangelo Sipsas has more.
Thousands of residents and tourists were evacuated in the early hours of Saturday as wildfires continued to burn across Greece for the 6th day, reaching the outskirts of the Greek capital. Authorities are urging people who live in the city to avoid unnecessary travel, to keep their windows shut, and to always wear masks. A fire threatening the Greek capital's most important national park killed one volunteer firefighter, while at least 20 people have so far been injured in blazes during the country's worst heat wave in 30 years. The fires that started near Mount Parnitha on Tuesday continued to burn and quickly spread to nearby urban areas, such as Krioneri, Drosopigi, and Aphidnes, before reaching Aio Stefano, an industrial zone. Many houses and properties have been burned, and many animals have been killed.
We are very sad.
because it's not just about us. There are thousands of people that have lost their homes, their fortunes. Over there, it's dangerous for us. We've come here now, but who knows? We might have to leave again.
In apocalyptic scenes overnight, ferries evacuated more than 1,000 people from a seaside village and beaches on the island of Evia. After flames cut off all other means of escape, older adults had to be assisted as they boarded ferries to safety. The multiple fires have stretched Greece's firefighting forces to the limit. The government has received help from France, Ukraine, Cyprus, Croatia, Sweden, and Israel, with more expected to arrive on Saturday from Romania and Switzerland. Civil Protection Chief Nikos Kardalias said firefighters faced exceptional, dangerous, and unprecedented conditions.
As we said yesterday, we are facing the hardest day in terms of the intensity of the weather conditions over the last 10 days. From yesterday afternoon, a number of new fires were added to the many fronts across the country.
In the last 24 hours, the fire brigade has tackled close to 90 wildfires, including ancient Olympia, site of the original Olympic Games, Evia, Messenia, and here, north of the Greek capital. With wildfires seemingly everywhere, locals say it almost feels like their country is under attack. Evangelos Sipsas for CGTN, Athens, Greece.
Turkish and Libyan officials have met in Istanbul to discuss bilateral cooperation and regional issues. The two countries enjoyed strong ties, especially since 2019, after signing a controversial maritime agreement. CGT and Mikhail Badavet has more.
Saturday, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan welcomed Libyan Prime Minister Abdülhamid Dbeibeh at the Vahdettin Mansion in Istanbul. The meeting took place behind closed doors and lasted an hour and a half. The one-on-one meeting was followed by talks between the two countries' delegations. Among other high-level Turkish officials present were Turkey's Treasury and Finance Minister Lütfi Elvan, Trade Minister Mehmet Muş, Turkish Central Bank Governor Sahap Kavcıoğlu. Turkey's ties with Libya have strengthened over the past few years, mostly due to a maritime boundary and security deal Ankara signed with the Government of National Accord in November 2019. Dbeibeh has since reassured Ankara of Libya's commitment to the deal, stating that it benefits Libyans. Turkey's Defense Minister Hulusi Akar also made statements related to Libya coinciding with the visit. Akar stressed that Turkish soldiers in Libya were there for military and education cooperation and that they were there at the request of the Libyan government. In 2020, Turkey critically helped push back an advance by Khalifa Haftar's Libyan National Army, which shifted the balance of power in favor of the GNA. Libya is now governed by a provisional government of national unity formed in March this year and led by Prime Minister Abdülhamid Dbeibeh. Though the controversial maritime agreement with Libya has drawn criticism from Greece and Egypt, it gives Ankara the right to explore gas in the exclusive zones determined by both parties and is expected to be the sticking glue for Turkey and Libya. I'm Mikhail Bardavit for CGTN in Antalya, Turkey. Saturday, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan.
Yangzhou is China's new hotspot for the Delta variant of COVID-19. It reported 38 new COVID-19 cases on Saturday. Strict restrictions have been imposed in the city's residential compounds. Mahjong Palace, a favorite among locals, have temporarily been closed.
Zhang Cansong is a former restaurant worker turned community volunteer as he works to help Yangzhou fight COVID-19. He's currently helping check the passes for incoming and outgoing residents. In high and medium risk areas, no one is allowed out of their communities, while in low risk areas, only one person per family is allowed out.
Every family has been issued a pass, and it's understandable that each may have urgent matters to deal with, such as buying food or medicine, but they can only go out once a day.
More than 40% of the cases in Yangzhou have been caused by community infections in chess rooms and mahjong parlors, and 70% are seniors, as the over 60 age group are more likely to play such games.
There are some large chess rooms close to us. I saw over 60 tables in them when I passed by. The small chess room also has a dozen tables.
A woman from Nanjing's Lukou Street was one of those playing in Yangzhou's mahjong parlors. She was later diagnosed with the virus and now in trouble with the authorities.
I can't say playing mahjong is a bad thing. Playing mahjong is a form of entertainment. There's nothing wrong with the old lady, Mao from Nanjing, playing mahjong, but she really shouldn't have hid her travel history.
Due to imported cases from Nanjing and the outbreak at mahjong parlors, all 45,000 chess rooms in Jiangsu province have been closed. As of Saturday, Yangzhou's cumulative number of confirmed cases has exceeded that of Nanjing. In this new epicenter of the outbreak, residents said that they want to go back to work as soon as possible, and that's why they need to be more cooperative to the ongoing restrictions. 德嘉欣 CGTN 扬州 Jiangsu Province.
Well, a quick recap of our top stories before we take leave of you. His Excellency President Adama Barrow has granted audience to over 600 imams and religious scholars at the State House. The 55th UK Jalsa Salana finally wrapped up on Saturday with a resounding message of tolerance and peace from worldwide head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. Heavy torrential rains battered inner city Gambia with residents struggling to keep their homes from inundation. In sports, the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games concluded on Sunday with a scaled-back closing ceremony in a near-empty Olympic stadium. Away from home, the Taliban is making fresh territorial gains in Afghanistan after seizing Kunduz, the third provincial capital to fall in 3 days. Elsewhere, wildfire are fast approaching a Greek capital, Athens, with thousands of people forced to evacuate on Saturday, some escaping by boat. Well, viewers, that does it for the news. Thanks for the pleasure of your company. Do stay with Jatiers and enjoy the rest of our programs. Good night.